Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. A live edition, a Thursday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We'll have our college football analyst, Brent Beaird, here momentarily. Then we'll have Newell Fox, good friend of mine, who has a big fundraiser poker tournament to benefit Young Life. We'll talk about that. It'll be during the bye week. A lot of celebrities will be there. So we'll give you some information on that. Let's go to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. And he is a Heisman Trophy voter. And he is a college football analyst. And I'm sure he is ready to start grading his athletes to see who he's going to vote for the Heisman Trophy. Brent Beaird, good morning. You're on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. What's happening?
Well, Shane, we're almost there, are we not? It's wonderful to be started. Georgia Tech's on the practice field as we speak over in Ireland. Obviously, both FSU and Georgia Tech are there getting ready for this weekend's Week 0 games. And then a week from today, we'll be talking about what, frankly, is really one of the best, 4 or 5 days of the year we have games from Thursday to Monday. It's a wonderful thing.
Yes, it is. I meant to mention that Andy Whitelanger with another walk-off hit last night. He's got a very good chance at Rookie of the Year. Before we jump into it, David asked on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, what's up, Shane? What prep are you doing for the Miami game? I pretty much know our roster, kinda. As a color analyst, you don't have to know all the players as much as you do as being the play-by-play guy, because all we do is try to paint a picture of what just happened for the people that aren't watching the game. So my job's pretty simple, pretty simple. So as you mentioned, yes, Georgia Tech and then Florida State plays Saturday noon, which will be about 6 o'clock over there, 5 or 6 o'clock. And we had Charlie Dean, my former teammate and tight end. His son plays at Georgia Tech, and they are over there. He and his family are already over there enjoying the festivities. All right, so we got some TV crews set up for the August 31st weekend. Want to run through those, Brent?
Yeah, I'm glad to. For Notre Dame A&M, Fowler, Herb Street, and Holly Rowe. And then, now that's on Saturday. The next day, on Sunday, you've got Herb Street Rowe and Reese Davis on the call of LSU and USC in Las Vegas. Now that is you do the game on Saturday, then you fly over, and I'm sure it's probably not commercial, is it, Shane?
No.
So they're treated pretty well. It's a long weekend, but that's okay too. Joe Tess, Jesse Palmer, Katie George, Florida and Miami, and then for Georgia, Clemson, Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, and Molly McGrath. So if people are interested in who is calling the game and some of the games we are looking forward to, that is your schedule.
Yeah, I think Sean McDonough is the best. I think he and Mike Tirico are the best out there right now. That they can do anything.
Very versatile.
Yeah, they're outstanding. Arizona State has named their starting quarterback, and it's not a guy who's been playing and bouncing around from school to school for quite some time.
Yeah, and we see a lot of that, don't we? Sam Levitt has been named the starting quarterback at Arizona State. Now, he beat out Jeff Sims. That name is familiar to people. Sims was at Georgia Tech in Nebraska, played at Sandalwood High School here in the Jacksonville area. Look, Shane, well, we kind of had this conversation a little bit, and I'll be quick about this. For guys like Jeff Sims, I understand if guys want to play quarterback their whole life and think they can do that, but I really do wonder for some of these guys who have bounced around repeatedly, if they would ever consider going to another position just to get on the field. Would that be worth some thought process for these guys?
Possibly, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how athletic. I mean, I know he's athletic for as a quarterback, so to speak, running. But I don't know if he's quick enough to play a wide receiver position. Can he get off press coverage?
Sure.
I don't know if he can catch the football. I just think sometimes you are what you are. You've peaked. You were a tremendous player in high school because you were the most athletic guy on the field. Well, that don't happen at the next level.
No.
But I mean, there's a ton of kids. I don't think in today's world that play a certain position in high school and then change in college. I think back in my day and the years afterwards, Coach Spurrier was big on recruiting high school quarterbacks to make them wide receivers. I mean, Jacquez Green was a high school quarterback. Several of his receivers that played under Spurrier were all high school quarterbacks. But Mike Peterson. Think about Mike Peterson. I think he won a state title playing quarterback at Santa Fe.
Amazing.
Coach Spurrier gave him one day, said, all right, you can go out there and suit up with the quarterbacks one day. After one day, he says, okay, Mike, it's time for you to change positions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he ended up playing linebacker and became I don't know if he's in the UF Hall of Fame, but hell, he played like 14 years in the NFL. So
really,
pretty good move for Mike Peterson for sure.
Yes.
Let me get to a couple of these questions before we move on, Brent. I'm trying to pull up the Facebook. It's not working on my computer, so I got to pull up on my phone. Dave says, sweet shirt, Shane. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Sean Kelly, my partner, the voice of the Gators. It's a shirt that he's selling at Alma Mater. The proceeds go to, I'm not sure which charity, but he gave me this shirt the other day. So I appreciate it. It's pretty cool. Very soft. Very soft. So Brent, any other quarterback announcements for the starting position around the country?
Yeah. There have been several. As a matter of fact, I did want to mention this because Gator fans can have played Utah, but Cam Rising is 25 years old, and look, Rising. There are some days I wonder if Rising is going to be there for 10 years. But I give him credit. I really like the guy. Michigan still has not decided on who their quarterback's going to be. And they've still got kind of a two-man battle. Alex Orgein, also Davis Warren. So they're still going at it with that. Miller Moss has been named the quarterback at USC with that one. So pretty much all these quarterbacks have been named already. I know pretty much everybody in the SEC has. The Sellers kid was named, I believe it was yesterday. That is South Carolina. Not sure how he's going to do, but with Spencer Rattler gone, they obviously had to find another one. So Lenore Sellers thinks a dual threat. They've also got Robbie Ashford and Davis Baville who are there too. So Shane, that'll be interesting to see how Lenore Sellers does. It'll be hard to live up to Spencer Rattler for a few months.
I don't know anything about Lenore Sellers. I think I saw him play a couple of snaps. He reminds me of Jeff Sims.
Yeah, that's a good comparison, frankly.
So we'll see how that works out. Jerry wants to know, do we have an update on Montreal? No, they'll probably give us all that this week. I still think he plays. Real quick, C. Irby on YouTube says, QB, I met a Miami fan at the range yesterday. He says Miami's ahead of UF in its rebuild because of recruiting and Mertz's completions being mostly 10 yards or less. I didn't take the bait. What says Brent? Let me just mention that.
Yeah.
Cam Rising's yards per completion ain't that much better, if it is any better. He comes from the Mike Leach system, which is dinking and dunking. And if y'all listened to the program yesterday with Steve Palazzolo from Pro Football Focus on, Brent, I don't know if you saw it. I'm sure you don't watch my show, but they were talking about yards per completion or something along those
Yeah.
lines yesterday in the
Yes.
NFL.
Right.
That Patrick Mahomes was third from dead last in yards from completion because he had no deep threat just last year, and they
Yeah.
just dinked and
Right.
dunked, and they weren't great on offense, but they found a way to
Mhm.
win. So,
Mhm.
look, I will take Graham Mertz over Cam Rising any day of the week.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree with that. Yeah. I hope folks this year realize how good Graham Mertz is.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and yes, I do listen when I can. So I always enjoy it.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and Cam Ward is 12 and 13 as a starter. So, look, Cam Ward's talented, but as I've said, and everybody else has said, he will never, ever, in the rest of his life that plays football, play in an environment like he's going to play in on next
True.
Saturday.
True.
All right, let's go back over a couple of the rule changes if people are not familiar with it. Okay, you got the helmet communication for the quarterbacks. It's still going to be
Yeah.
interesting to me how that's used in college football because there's still so much, nobody huddles, and there's still so many signals that the
Hmm.
skill guys have to memorize, watch the signs on the sideline. I think the one that I even forgot about is you're going to have a 2 minute 2 minute drill now, or
Yeah.
2 minute warning, I should say,
Right. Right.
which gives you an extra timeout. So that kind of changes your philosophy. If you're down and you have two timeouts, or if you have all three timeouts, how do you play depending on what you need to go win the game? So you like all these changes, right, Brent?
Yeah, the jury's still out on this 2 minute warning thing. I mean, I do get amused when writers write that it doesn't necessarily mean that will have more commercials. I'm not I'm not convinced about that one at all. But in college football, has never had a 2 minute warning. Frankly, a time stop stoppage that started at the NFL in 1942. How about that? But I think that's the one that I'm looking forward to seeing more than others. Now, the one with the helmet communication, what to me is interesting. I'm curious your take on this. Uh, it the communication goes dead at the 15-second mark. In
Correct.
other words, you've got to get what you need done before then. I mean, I guess my questions are, Shane. Normally, do quarterbacks have the call by then? And when it goes dark, does that make is that a good time to cut it off? I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, that's what they've always done in the NFL, so that's what they're going to do. So here's the deal. It's great because whoever has the communication system can talk to his quarterback, say, hey, here's what we're going to run, whatever the play's called, bandit right, blue slide, five semi. If you see this look, let's change it to that. You can communicate and give more tips and things of that nature. But remember, it's only the quarterback hearing this.
That's right.
While he is getting the play, all the other coaches and all the administrator, whoever else is over there, are holding the billboards up. They're doing the signs for the receivers,
Yes.
the tight ends, and sometimes the running backs. So I'm curious to watch a lot of football this year to see how people use this, because it's not like with 20 seconds left or 15 seconds left, he can go real quick and whoever's the play caller change the play, call this. Well, you got to still communicate it to the other guys. The quarterback's the only
That's right.
person that hears it. So if the quarterback
Mhm.
hears it and wants to change the play and can get it done quickly, it may work. So I don't know how they're going to use it, how the NFL, because it's great in the NFL because everybody huddles.
Sure.
So nobody has to learn signals. You don't have to waste time during the day or during the off season learning a bunch of signals, which I've always thought was such a waste of time. So I'm anxious
Yeah.
to see how people do it. I mean, like
Yeah. Me
I
too.
saw your notes where Lane talked about it being cheating. I don't know if it's cheating, Lane, because you got to be able to communicate it very fast what you want to change to the
Sure.
other guys. So we'll see. Um, real quick before we go down to the league, Michael says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, Cam Ward's average yards is less than Mertz. It's less than 7 yards at completion. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, well, let me say too, Cam Ward has struggled on the road.
Yeah.
And that's something that needs to be said too. We'll get into that more next week, but and I'm not making that up. I mean that's a fact, and it's tough to play on the road. And as Shane said, this is the toughest environment anywhere.
Yeah, he'll never ever in entire life play football in a tougher environment. Because if you look at his schedule, and even when he goes to play in the National Football, if he's lucky enough, and if he plays in Canada, he'll never play in an environment like this.
No,
Florida victorious joined today to help make Florida victorious. We got Brent Beaird, a college football analyst, on the Titan Tomorrow hotline, courtesy of Comfort Town. And the other thing I wanted to mention is the key to me to this game, and we'll talk more about it next week, is they got the transfer. He's a really good running back, and Joe Zagacki talked about him yesterday from Oregon State. That's going to be the key, and it's been my key all summer, all off season long. Can the front seven on the Gator defense play a little bit better than average? If they do that, they can win a bunch of games.
Yeah.
All right, Brent, let's go.
Yeah, agree.
Go ahead.
Well, Damian Martinez last year had 1,185 yards and 9 touchdowns at Oregon State. I agree with you. He's a real deal. That's very much of a key to the game.
Yeah, you got to stop the run. Force them to throw the football. All right, let's go around the league. Alabama, any news coming out of Tuscaloosa?
I thought the interesting thing over the last few days with Alabama was a lot of schools now have what you would call the general manager. NFL has done this obviously for years. I'm sure you saw this, Shane, but they've got a guy named Courtney Morgan, and administrative positions are like coaches. If someone offers you more money, your current school is going to try to top that. Now, what happened with Morgan is going to get $825,000 a year. USC actually offered him $1 million, but he wanted to stay at Alabama. He and DeBoer have been together for a long time, so he decided to stay. But this is becoming a bigger deal, is it not? With a lot of different teams about their general manager. When Kalen DeBoer stepped off the plane for the first time in Tuscaloosa, the guy who was standing by him was Courtney Morgan. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Just some other quick things for Bama. They've done well in recruiting. King Deere is a running back, one of the better ones in the nation. He committed this week. Alabama's already named their captains. That's something they rarely ever do before the season. Jalen Milroe, Deontay Lawson, Tyler Booker, Malachi Moore, or those guys. Rico Scott, one of their wide receivers, did well, along with Ryan Williams, who's a freshman receiver, too. They've got to get Jaden Roberts back. He's a right guard. He had a upper body injury. So, but otherwise, Alabama's had a good fall camp.
Text on the Titan our text line from Daryl says, "Good morning, guys. Brent, hope to see you at the Clay Fleming Island game tomorrow night." Oh, that's a big rival. A week from Saturday, people will be forgetting about NIL and will be concentrating on football. That is true.
Thank God, yes.
Yes. Tanya Ron says, Miami's O-line and D-line will really test our lines for sure. I agree, but I would like to say this. It ain't like the Gators don't play in the Southeastern Conference week in and week out. Last time I checked, the Miami Hurricanes went 7-6 last year. So their damn O-line and D-line can't be better than Georgia's or anybody else we face. I mean, am I crazy to think that?
No, you're correct.
Yeah, I mean, they act like it's the damn 88 Cowboys O-line rolling in here.
Yeah.
And the 85 Bears. So, look, I know they got good players, and I know we've struggled on that offense and D-line for years, but they're not going to come in here with something we haven't seen. I mean, we play in the Southeastern Conference every damn week, so that's just my 2 cents.
Sure.
All right, what's going on with the Auburn Tigers?
Auburn so far is the unit that Hugh Freeze wants to see the most improvement in is the offensive line. They're not there yet. He's hoping they will be at some point. Really good running back room with Jarquez Hunter, who's one of the better backs in the league, DeMario Austin and Jeremiah Cobb. Also, Malcolm Simmons is a freshman receiver. They're a much better receiver than they were last year. Also, Malik Blockton, who's a defensive tackle, has really come on, and he has played well too. So Auburn's recruiting well. They're having a good camp. And again, remember, all the September games are at home, and they have 0 home games in October, which is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it really is. Greg asks, he wonders who will have the communication on Florida's staff. Don't know that yet. I'll try to find that out next week. Whoever the play caller, it doesn't actually have to be the actual play caller. It's usually whoever, they got guys doing the signaling. That's the difference. I don't know. I got to find that out. All right, Brent, the Mighty Gators. What can you tell us what's going on in Gainesville?
Well, I give Scott Carter credit for this. I'm sure you've talked about this, but they haven't had a linebacker lead them in tackles since Ventrell Miller.
That's crazy.
Safeties have basically done that. Also, Bates had 135 and 96, Spikes 93 and 08. So I think that's something that it was worthy of mentioning. Jakeem Jackson, Jordan Castile, and Tyreek Sapp had interceptions in the second scrimmage. A lot of the freshmen have been involved. Receiver Tank Hawkins has played well. One guy who has really stepped up is Rod Kearney. Rod Kearney is from Orange Park High School. I used to cover him. We could tell when he was in high school he was going to be a collegiate player at some point. So, and I'm curious if you've heard more about him, but I'm glad to see him coming around, frankly, and hopefully he will really begin to step up and become a good player. Pup Howard, who comes in from South Carolina, is doing well too. So certainly some good news coming out of Gainesville.
Yes, the stat that you mentioned that Scott Carter put out there just blows my mind because your linebackers should be leading your team. But that
Yes.
To me, it tells you you have not had good linebackers, and your front four has not done their job. And that has got to change. That's all I care about. Front seven on defense. Front seven on defense. You're going to hear it. You've heard it all summer long. You're going to continue hearing it from me for sure. Ben on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, says, do you think DJ will get at least one snap? Don't know, don't care. Quite honestly, Ben, we are going to try to win the football game. I do know that. And I just don't know if he's ready to be put in a game. I don't know if I would put him in the game if I was calling plays right now. I would probably wait till the Sanford game.
Yeah. I've
been to all the scrimmages, and he's had some splash plays, but he's had too many bad plays. Just throwing into triple coverage, throwing off your back foot. He played high school football last year, so it's a different ball game, and I just don't think you waste a series just to put him in the game. Now, Billy and them may think differently. I mean, they're with him way more than I am. I'm just going by what I've seen. So I think I would wait till the Sanford game, personally. All right, what's going on in Athens?
Well, they're having a good camp too, although you won't get a whole lot of good out of Kirby Smart sometimes. But London Humphreys at wide receiver has made a lot of improvement in the scrimmage. Michael Jackson III is Drew some praise also. So did Colby Young. These are all receivers. Young has a little bit of a hamstring problem, but he is doing well. Gunnar Stockton is really the number 2 quarterback behind Carson Beck, redshirt sophomore. He'd been in the program for quite some time. So I think he's doing well with that. So, and Kirby also likes C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson on both those guys have really stepped up. He was asked about some of the guys who have been able to do that. And again, I don't think enough people have talked about, Shane, frankly, and we'll do it more next week. This Clemson game is not, look, I don't think this is not going to be a 28-point win for Georgia. Clemson's got a good club, and I think they're going to be improved. They've got a really good front 7 on defense, which is going to make a difference. But I'll be curious to see, particularly in as far as the point spread, if this game doesn't get closer as the game time nears.
Yeah, I saw a clip. Somebody sent it to me. It was pretty funny because I crack up at some of the stuff Kirby says at press conferences. But I think it was Chip Towers from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution asked him about, is anybody going to be suspended with all the off-season stuff? Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think anybody's going to be suspended for the Georgia? Who does Georgia play week 2? I didn't mean to put you on the spot, Brent.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's just a matter of, I've got it right here. Week 2.
I bet they're suspended week 2.
Yeah, it's Tennessee Tech. What do you think, Shane?
I think ETN and those other guys that got in trouble will be sitting out the Tennessee Tech game. That's just me. Yeah. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, good point. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Look, and this is what we said a few minutes ago. This is a big game for Georgia. It's in Atlanta. That they've got the crowd. They want to get off to a good start. Remember, Georgia did not win the SEC or get in the playoffs last year. So, in their mind, they've got a lot to prove.
Yeah, they do. Kentucky, I didn't realize they opened up with the Golden Eagles of Southern Miss. They better watch out there.
Well, what about this, Shane? If people wonder where Tate Rodemaker went from Florida State, he is at Southern Miss and probably will be the starter against Kentucky. So it's really kind of fun to watch and see where all these guys have ended up at one time or another. So that's where Tate has gone, and that will be very interesting. And Kentucky need to start the season well, so they'll certainly have some tape on him.
Yeah, LSU, they open up against USC out in Vegas. They haven't won an opener in quite some time.
Yeah,
it's interesting. You lose the Heisman Trophy winner. You were terrible in defense last year. They obviously are trying to make changes on that side of the ball, how the Gators are doing. I don't know what USC has, but this could be an interesting game. Do you think the Tigers come out of this with a win?
This will be the winner of this game will be the team that's able to cobble together a defense. And both LSU and USC have been non-existent on defense. But Blake Baker comes over from Missouri, Bo Davis, Corey Raymond's on that LSU staff now. I think they'll be able to do better on defense than USC will. To your point, they've not won an opener since 2019. How about that, Shane? Wow. That's amazing for LSU to not win an opener. But again, I've given them credit. They've played Florida State a couple of times, and that's been so. They to their credit, they play some tough teams. I think this team will get better as it goes along. Offensively, they're going to be good. But to their original point, Savion Jones, Jacoby Guillory, names on the defensive line for LSU that really need to come through. They've probably got the best offensive line in the league, and that's really not an exaggeration. I think they'll be able to run the ball with Josh Williams and guys like that. I think They'll be fine. At quarterback, I think they'll be good, but they're still, Shane, they've still got to be, 2 or 3 years away from really having the type of defense that they were known for years ago.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the same boat as the Gators. I mean, it's just hard to
Yeah,
believe when you think of those two programs on the defensive side of the ball, how bad they've been recently.
true.
Um, they used to have so many athletes and so many talented guys that went on to play at the next level. Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it, we stand by it. Got Brent Beaird, a college football analyst, Heisman Trophy voter, on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Cover 10. All right, here's a text on the Titan MR text line from George regarding the Missouri Tigers. He says, Brent, I would love your comments, what you thought about what Eli Drinkwitz said about their fans. I don't know if you saw that. I saw
I
it.
did. I
Okay.
did. Yeah. I mean, he really got onto their fans and said, "Look, guys, we're not." This is part of their problem. They've got a really easy schedule in September, and he challenged their fans in order to come out and support them. They've got Murray State in the opener, then Buffalo, Boston College, Vanderbilt. They go to A&M October the 5th. So look, he's going to have the challenge of getting this fan base energized enough. But look, when Brady Cook comes back, Luther Burden, the third is going to be there. This is still going to be a very good football team. But yeah, that's what he did. That's a really good point to bring that out. Is he really is trying to wake up this fan base to come back so they can maybe have another double-digit win season.
Yeah. Ole Miss, obviously I have a lot of Ole Miss ties. I'm pulling for the Rebels. I'm not a believer for some reason. I don't know why it is. I don't know if it's, and I like Lane, but I saw Lane is 2-9 against top 10 teams since he's been at
That's
Ole
right.
Miss. Those
Yes.
two wins, one was against Kentucky when they were ranked at home, when they played Kentucky in Oxford. I guess Kentucky was like number 9 or 8, beat them. And then they beat Penn State in the bowl game last year.
Yeah.
Don't the Rebels have to? I mean, obviously they're going to start the year probably 7-0 if you look at their
Yes.
schedule until
Yes.
they start playing some difficult games. But I know the media, the national media is all over them. I get it, but they have got. I mean, they got to take that next step, don't you think, Brent?
No question. And frankly, they're going to have a lot of pressure on them this year because people think they're going to be a playoff team. And look, they may be able to get into the 12. They've got a humongous game at home with Georgia in November, so that may decide where they're going. But look, I'm with Shane. I mean, I get it when you got Walter Nolan on your front seven on defense. Pete Golding is another year removed from Alabama, so they're hoping they're going to be better defensively. I mean, offensively, they've got all the weapons. Jackson Dart at quarterback, Trey Harris at wide receiver, Ulysses Bentley at running back. So they're – and Henry Parrish, by the way, is there too on offense, and he's going to help them. So, Shane, frankly, it's there, right, as far as the players. But I'm with you. They've really got to beat some of this better competition before people really believe that they're as good as they're predicted to be.
Yeah. Reggie says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, Ole Miss dropped some serious cash on this roster. No question. All right, Brent, I want to jump down to the two Texas teams. Obviously, Texas has had a bunch of injuries in their scrimmages. And then A&M, I forgot, they open up with Notre Dame. Just
That's
give me your
right.
thoughts on what you're hearing out of Texas and then your kind of that Notre Dame A&M opener.
Yeah, that's going to be fascinating. Game day is going to be there for that game. As a matter of fact, Connor Wigman coming back, I think, is going to be huge. We really don't know how healthy he is after the surgery, but I understand he is going to be able to play. They've struggled with their offensive line over the last few years, and they think they're going to be better. Frankly, Trey Zune, Chase Beacentis, those are guys who they really like. They've got a really good athlete. He's a 5-star, Terry Busey, who everybody wanted he's been working with the defensive backs, but I could see him maybe returning punts and things of that nature. So going to be fascinating. I agree with you to see how A&M is going to be doing this year with Mike Elko. Texas is doing okay. Quinn Ewers, obviously. I wonder, and I think you alluded to this earlier, C.J. Baxter is out. Their number one backup is out at running back. Do they throw the ball more than they did? They've got a graduate transfer wide receiver, Silas Bolden, over from Oregon State. That's going to help them. So, and again, we remember early in the season this year, Texas goes to Michigan and will be the tickets for that game, Shane. I wonder what that will end up costing before it's over.
Well, it'll be more than the tickets Dan says going to the Missouri opener for $15. You can get in.
Yeah, really.
Brent, give us a few nuggets before we get you out of here.
Yeah, always glad to be able to do that. I do think Florida State obviously wins, but I do like this Georgia Tech team and kind of what they have done. We've talked a good bit about Haynes King coming over from Texas A&M. They've also got a really good running back, Jamal Haynes, who was a wide receiver who's now a running back. Look, they're not going to win. They don't have the players yet, but Brent Key has done a good job, frankly. And again, this FSU team, a lot of it's going to come down to Uiagalelei and what he's able to do. He needs to be better in his passing completion percentage. He was in the high 50s. They're hoping they can get him into the 60s this year. So that's going to be very interesting to see. So game week this week for week 0. And Shane, we can't wait the next week when the SEC cranks it up too.
No doubt. So we'll have you back on then, Brent. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you next Thursday, my man.
Appreciate it, bud. Always enjoy it. Take care.
That's Brent Beaird, our college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort 10. Take a quick time out. Come back. Finish up today's program. You're watching and listening to PodUp Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Gridiron sponsors, Comfort Temp, UF Bookstores, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogra State Farm, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, F45. Our touchdown sponsors, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Aikido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, MG&A Wealth, Nest and Wild.
If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogra State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. We're going to go back to the Titan More hotline courtesy of Comfort Temp, joined by Newell Fox, good friend of mine. We used to do a little bit of radio, ran my camps. Now he's a fundraising guy. Good morning, Coach Fox. How we doing?
Coach, appreciate you having me on the show. Yeah, those were back in the days when we were on the radio. I was looking it up. The last time I was on the radio with you, we were arguing with callers, and you and I were going back and forth on whether Brett Favre was going to retire from the Green Bay Packers. So it's been a minute.
How the hell do you remember that? Yeah, that's great. All right, so I wanted to bring you on. Obviously, you're putting together this huge event. It's one of the bye weeks. Florida has all these college teams have like 2 and 3 bye weeks now, but it's October 26th. It's benefiting Young Life. Tell us all about it. Who's going to be there and what's going on?
Yeah, so we've set a course for Valley View, October 26th. This will be a 400 plus person event. High end, great food. We're going to have Embers Grill there. Spurrier's will be there. Cousins Maine Lobster, and all to benefit Young Life, which is a faith-based organization that brings college kids into middle schools and high schools, and allow them to kind of have community and club on different campuses. They also have summer camps that are these over-the-top camps in North Carolina and in Ocala, where kids can go with kids their age and have a whole week of camp. It's a lot of fun, but Young Life is trying to go where kids are, building a personal relationship with them, providing, adventurous, life-changing experiences, and using people in the community to help out with that. The fun part about that night is we're having a celebrity poker tournament, which your very own Shane Matthews is going to be a part of. We have Scott Strickland sitting at the table, Kevin O'Sullivan, and 12-time Olympic medal Ryan Lochte will be there as well. So we're selling seats to sit at that table for that Texas Hold'em tournament. Coach, I know you're excited about that. Have you ever played Texas Hold'em?
Yeah, not very good. I've never been a great poker player. I don't have the patience to play poker. If we were playing blackjack, I'd be damn good. But it just depends on how the shoe is. But no, I'm not great at poker. I'm sure these other guys are experienced poker players. I have a feeling Coach O'Sullivan is probably a pretty good poker player.
Well,
do they have any experience?
He's in the same boat. He's he hasn't played a lot. Ryan Lochte's he's excited about it because he wants to start doing more celebrity poker tournaments. But we're Coach, just so you know, the most expensive seat we're selling is right between you and the AD, Scott Strickland. So hopefully we'll pull in some money for that. And so it's going to be a great event. You can buy tickets online at ignitegnv.com, and that's Ignite spelled IGNYTE, and then gnv.com. You can get your tickets there, or buy a seat to sit with these celebrities at the poker tournament. And Coach, don't worry, it's going to be an hour or less. It's not one of these long tournaments. It's going to be a super quick turbo, so you guys can get back to hanging out.
So I shouldn't just go all in the first hand.
Could be a strategy, Coach. And our winners, the winner of the tournament is going to get 4 tickets to Florida, Georgia, club level. Got a couple seats for the Florida LSU game and the Champions Club. We've got 3 unique bourbon bottles for those guys, and you get your picture. Hey, you get your picture taken with all the celebrities.
So there's myself, Lochte, Coach O'Sullivan, and Scott Strickland. So there's 4 of us. There'll be 4 people who bid on the other seats. So there's a total of 8.
Total of 10. So there's 6 other seats, and okay. You can see it. It's all laid out on the website. You can see your all's little emojis there where you would be sitting. But yeah, 6 other seats are for sale. We're not auctioning them off. We just put a price on them, and if you want to click the button and buy them right now, that's the best way to close that out.
I got you. And so people can still go to the event, and then they just kind of stand around and watch the poker part of this deal?
Yeah. The event's 5:30 to 9:30. The poker tournament will go from about 6:15 to 7:15. So you've grabbed a cocktail, you've gone over and had some Spurrier's food, and you're like, oh, look there. Shane's got jacks. He's all in against Kevin O'Sullivan. Who's going to win? And you're just kind of hanging out and watching that. We've got a golf experience. I think Davis Chevrolet is going to allow us to do maybe a hole in one on the mini putt putt and get a chance to win a car. So lots of fun stuff going on. It won't be your typical charity event. We don't sit down at a table, 10 people around the table and have a long program. It's very social. It's back and forth. You remember the last event you worked for me, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Andy wants to know, we'll put it up on the website as well. We'll put up the link so people can go check it out as well. Mark says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Face cards all in, number cards fold.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this and you can help Shane out at all with his poker style or strategy, please chat in the chat, hook him up because he's going to need a lot of help.
Dan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon Law, he'd be upset if I went all in on the first hand and lost and left. I won't leave. I'll still hang around.
Yeah, that's right. You get to hang around.
We'll see. I may go all in. I may not. I'm gonna learn a little bit before I go. All right, Newell, give me your thoughts. You're a Gator. You excited for the football season?
Yeah, I think it's I've been everybody's been talking and everybody gets excited, and when you hire new coaches, there's new hope, and when you have a new season, there's new hope. But have you seen Cam Ward play? Have you watched any film on him?
I've watched him play a lot at Washington State. Good player, has a losing record as a starting quarterback. His yards per completion is lower than Graham Mertz, and he will never, ever play in an atmosphere in his entire lifetime like he will play in the Swamp, because he played in the Pac-12. They have some decent crowds, but nothing like here. And moving forward, he will never play in an environment like this.
Well, Coach, as usual, when we're on together, sometimes we disagree. So in late November, he goes into Washington, cold, wet ball, number 4 team in the country, and he throws for 317 yards and 3 tutties. And
how many attempts did he have?
He was 32 for 48 that day.
Yeah, that's a lot of attempts.
Well, Washington
in today's world, throwing it 48 times, throwing for 300 is pretty easy.
Well, when's the last time Graham Mertz went into a on the road atmosphere, threw for 300 and had 3 touchdowns against a top 10 opponent?
That I don't know, but Graham is playing at home, and Graham threw for over 70% last year, and I will take him any day of the week over Cam Ward as a quarterback.
Okay. What do you think about Cam as a pro potentially? I mean, there was talks that he was
no chance.
No chance.
No chance.
So 0 chance or like 1%?
He will get drafted at some point. I don't know what round, and he will be on a roster for his rookie contract for 2 years or so, and then he will be released and probably go to Canada.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll mark that down. Coach,
I don't know how mobile he is. You got to be real mobile to play quarterback in Canada. Look, I'm not against him. I've said it on this show, Justin Fields cannot play quarterback. It's being proven. He can't. He can't play in the National Football. If you cannot throw the football into tight windows and be accurate and make good decisions, you cannot play at that next level. But we're talking about college football. Cam, he's a very talented quarterback, but he has a losing record as a starter. And again, I know Washington, whether it was raining, snowing, whatever, it is not like playing here. And so we'll see. We'll see.
All right. I got a segment here for you, Coach. You ready?
What you got?
So you can't cheat because I know you got your computer up, but
but it's up with people's comments.
Okay. You got a lot going on. So fans can play at home. So we had a lot of, people have been switching conferences. We got a lot of moving around. So I've got a quiz here for you. It's 6 quick questions, rapid fire. Let's see how good you are. You ready?
All right.
All right. So what conference? I'm going to name the team. You tell me what conference they're in. And the questions will start a little easy and then they'll get a little harder. Okay. I'm going to give you a layup this first one. You ready?
Yeah.
Don't be looking over there at your computer.
I'm looking at this. C. Irby says he was in Young Life and went to Windy Gap as a camper in high school. It's a great organization.
Yeah. So he knows about Windy Gap. He could buy tickets, come to the event. He could go to our website.
C. Irby probably lives in like Montana somewhere.
He could donate and send kids back to Windy Camp, and we would.
We got people all over the world listening to this, Coach.
Yeah, I didn't know you're worldwide. You're like Pitbull, man. Worldwide.
No, it's world.
Okay, you ready, Coach?
You would be shocked at how worldwide. When I look at the the stats or demographics or whatever what do you call it? The data.
The data.
I'm like, what are these people over in Great Britain and what are these people in Thailand listening for? It's
Gator
crazy.
Nation. Gator
I
Nation.
guess. Yeah.
All right.
Go
First
ahead.
one. Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. What about the conference?
Yeah. What conference are they in?
Oh, the SEC,
FSU.
the ACC.
Nebraska.
They're in the Big Ten.
Coach, how many teams are in the Big Ten?
It's either 18 or 19.
18 is correct. Arizona State.
Ooh, they're in the Big 12 now.
How many teams are in the Big 12?
That's a great question. I'm going to just guess and say 10.
16.
Oh, I was way off.
Okay, you're 4 for 5 right now. You're doing good. How many Pac-12 teams can you name?
There is no Pac-12 team anymore. There's no conference.
But how many teams can you name that play football in the Pac-12 as of this year?
Oh, they don't have a conference, but they have two teams that who are those two teams? Let's see, everybody went to a conference, didn't they? Or
No, you're right. You just said it. There are 2 teams.
yeah, there's 2 teams. I can't remember who they were. It's like Oregon State.
Correct.
And who was the other one?
Cam Ward played for him last year.
Oh, Washington State.
There you go. All right, last one. I thought I was going to get you on either Arizona State or that one. Okay, so last one, California.
The Cal Bears are playing in the stupid ACC.
That makes total sense from a geographic standpoint, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. So it's Stanford. How about that?
Yeah. All right, Coach, you blew that out of the water. That was good.
And people better look out for the SMU Mustangs because they may win the ACC.
Okay. All right, here's a playoff question for you, Coach. How many 8-4 teams will make the 12-team playoff?
8-4?
Because before you answer, I've heard that the Florida Gators have run a
they're the only potential team that would have a chance would be the Gators.
Okay, because I've heard they've run some matrix. I don't know how many times they've flushed it out, if it's a 50% chance or 40% chance, but if they go 8-4, they're believed to go to the 12-team playoff. You think that's true?
Yes, I do. We got a text here on the Titan our text line saying Graham Mertz threw for over 400 yards last year at Utah on the road.
See, your listeners are smart.
Yeah, they are because they're all into looking up stats for me.
Yep, I like it. And you said Cam Ward didn't have a winning record last year. What was Graham?
No, his starting as a starting quarterback, he's 12-14.
Okay, got it. So, what's your prediction on the game? Who do you think wins?
I think Florida wins. I've already predicted. I'm like with Coach Spurrier. Coach Spurrier picked them the other day to go 9-3. I think they have a very good chance. I only think there's only 2 teams that are that much better that I don't think we can beat is Georgia and Texas. I think everybody else is beatable.
Okay.
You play 7 home games, win them all.
Yeah, Vegas disagrees, but
well, no, I don't give a damn what Vegas says. Vegas. Here's what I like to say: you look at the schedule. We don't know how good the teams were that were good last year. There's turnover. See, I do not see how anybody thinks Florida State is a top 10 team. It just blows my mind. The quarterback is not very good, and they lost so many good players. And they may have replaced them, but I would not want DJ Uiagalelei running my offense. So they may have a great year, and I'll eat crow, but I just not think he's very good.
I think a lot of that has to do with schedule. They're just not going to be challenged a bunch.
Well, they're not, but I don't think they win the ACC.
Yeah. So, who do you got? Clemson?
I do like Clemson, and I like SMU as a sleeper.
You know, the Miami-Florida game is also interesting. Just, you know, who comes out of there with the win, who comes out with the loss. Miami is going to play one ranked opponent based on preseason polls right now the rest of the year, and that's Florida State, who you just said isn't that good. So, you know, Florida to me –
ACC.
yeah. Florida to me, it's two scenarios. I hope the second one is incorrect. I think they're either 4-1 or 5-0, or they're 1-2 after the first 3 games. And I hope that does not happen. But Vegas thinks that there's a 50% probability that could happen. I hope it doesn't. I hope they're 4-1 or 5-0 going into the long stretch.
Yeah, I've picked us to be 5-0. I would be very disappointed if we're not 5-0. You got to win your games at home. It's that simple. And you got a tough one at Mississippi State, but we should beat it. Coach, we're out of time. One more time, let everybody know where they can go to the website.
IgniteGNV.com. Again, we spell Ignite IGNYTE and then GNV.com. Really appreciate you having me on the show. Buy your tickets online. You can donate to the cause. It's a great cause for young kids in the Gainesville area. Or if you want to come play poker with the big boys, auction off one of those seats. Coach, your seats, the seat between you and Scott, is going for $9,500. So if you want to put some big bills down,
you may have to lower that price.